with Soraka, Temkench versus Fiora Shen. So the game is a little bit laggy coming in from Soggyslopster's side, but we will make do with what we have. You know, and look at Soggy. He has the Shen. You know, he has the Caretaker for turn 1. It seems like he's really comfortable moving up against Pynex. If he could continue the pressure, and the Citra is gonna be, you know, the fatal win con that he needs to win against Pynex.
That is a curve if I've ever seen one, but even with that curve, I still think the Soraka Tomken should have the upper hand because they can kill so far off from what the Demacia Iona deck can put up in terms of pressure. Because even if Fiora is going to try and kill, you have things like I think the scariest thing is going to be Astral Protection. When you see Astral Protection, you're going to be scared no matter what.
Yep, so here we have the attack coming in from the Caretaker, trying to bluff, you know, a sharp side as well. You know, but this is probably a good block, right? Coming in from Pynex, as Soggy is just trying to bluff his way. He said, if you have that sharp side, show me. And Soggy unfortunately doesn't have the answer to that.
Yes, just check your opponent if he has the answer. There is no need not to try that one out, because if they have it, they are going to be punished, and you are going to be punished anyway. So you're better off getting rid of that as fast as possible, so you can progress your own game plan and enable your own threats.
Yeah, so I apologize that the stream is slightly laggy, because on Soggy's side, it's just slightly lag in a sense. So, but this attack coming in from Pynex, you know, he's able to take out that he's able to take out that River Shaper. He's able to put in more damage onto his units. I think Pynex is pretty comfortable as well.
The Star Spring is keeping on growing, I'm curious if he managed to find the Soraka in these turns, and because we know there is a Tom Kench, because we watched Pynex's initial mulligan, we watched Soggyslopster's mulligan on Pynex's stream, I think.
Yeah, so I think, you know, it's not gonna make too much of a difference. This the Temkench is probably gonna drop this turn, and he has no reason to not play the Temkench this turn.
Yeah, if you play Tom Kench, there is no threat to it. You enable yourself having acquired taste every single turn from then onwards. Maybe he has that. Maybe he has that one copy. That copy of Pel Cascade, and then you can try and trade with the Fiora. Yes, there is a Pel Cascade, and fortunately, because you checked your opponent of a potential sharp side the turns before, this Fiora is going to get killed.
Yeah, so Pynex is really calculating what Soggy has and trying to check, you know, every single spell off the checklist that is available. And it seems like right now Pynex is just really comfortable. He's healing at a very steady rate, and at the same time, you know, he's maintaining tempo. And all he needs to do is just deal with the Citra on the 6, which is, you know, probably the worst card in his matchup. So if he could keep that Citra in check, I think Pynex actually have this whole game under control.
I'm curious if we're going to see a buff on the Tom Kench into eating the Citria with acquired taste. That might be an option, and I don't know if Soggyslopster has a way to respond to that. Never mind, he finds the single combat.
I mean, he has the single combat, he has no P5, so Soggy has every way that, you know, he could deal with the Temkench spells to eat the Soraka, the Citra. So here comes the Soraka coming in, but I think it's not gonna change too much. It's just possibly a soft pass from Soggy, and this attack, you know, there is no way that he could block against the Shed.
But he can block against Soraka because he knows his opponent doesn't have a sharp side from the previous turns, and he still knows he doesn't have it. Now he can still keep his units being damaged, being healed. The Soraka is going to draw cards turn after turn.
Yeah, so right here, I think, you know, he has to find a way to heal up as fast as possible. Like, look at Soggy's hand right now. Soggy has so many options, right? He has like sharp side if you want to deal with, you know, either the Soraka or Temkench. You could remove it with with concerted strike as well. So there are so many ways that Soggy could deal with this, unless Pynex have a bastion or something that he could defend himself against this onslaught of this terror that Citra is ever gonna bring, or else and Pynex really have to remove the Citra as fast as possible, or else the Citra is just gonna snowball her way in, and just using the fearsome attacks is just gonna take Pynex down to 0 really quick.
You might really not be afraid of what Soggy can have here, because you had enough turns to find answers. Oh, that is another Citra, and that reminds an answer. I think you want a Hush, or that is going to be a lot of damage coming your way, especially because you only have 2 attack blockers. It is a very dire situation, and the sides might turn just with that top deck.
Yeah, so look at, like, as you were saying, Citra is so crucial for Soggyslopster, and not just have one, he had 2 copies of Citra. That being said, both the Citra is gonna get fearsome as well. Here comes a Notify onto the Tampkench spell. So Tampkench is unable to eat this Shen. He's unable to control his board, and this swing is gonna be so huge for Soggyslopster, and this could be lethal.
Right, is this lethal? Do you have an answer, Pynex? Because if you do, it is the time. You need at least 1 copy of Hush in order to block one of the Citras, and he has it. He is still alive, ladies and gentlemen. He still has some fighting spirit. Oh, and also the Astral Protection. That is a lot of healing coming your way. And as Zizi would say, that is the damage.
Yeah, that is huge, but I think this is at least, this actually keeps in the game. Unfortunately, the Soraka has to go. He's unable to get any more healing out of that Soraka, and the Star Spring is currently at what, 10 or 14? I can't exactly figure that out due to the blur, but I think if Pynex is really difficult, has a very bad time if he ever wants to win via the Star Spring Wincon. He's just too far away from winning.
With double Citra on the board, that threat is very much alive and kicking, and now you even have the concerted strike to top it off if your opponent tries to save their units. But there is no way you're trying, I think, here to eat with Tom Kench. I think there is no way unless you have a lot of protection.
Yeah, he has no way to try to win with this, but this actually allows, if Soggy actually do not go for the block over here, or even like to kill off this croaker, this crusty croaker, like he has no way that he could block against the next turn. So it's gonna be a really straight attack for Soggy, and Soggy and Pynex is in a very bad situation.
It seems like there is no answer in Pynex's hand whatsoever, and I'm really curious about the Mentor of the Stones tech in his deck, because usually you want your units to be damaged, and Mentor of the Stones is not hitting you by much. Maybe it can push for some little, but here usually the Star Springer is already doing the healing by itself.
Yeah, I mean, right now he could like jam, he could jam to go for a blocker, and it's not allowed. It's actually denying the Star Spring from any healing as well. So Star Spring is at 13. He's slightly slower, at 14. If this heal on the Croaker.
And at this point, you need to ask yourself, if you're Pynex, what are my outs? How am I going to get out of this? Do I need to use this acquired taste in order to eat a Shen and try to limit the pressure from my opponent? Is my opponent going to be able to answer, considering there is a lot of mana? Those are questions that might go through our players' minds right now. And there's the Tiana, and if you didn't have lethal, you're going to have it now.
Yeah, the Tiana is just here to sweep off the victory for Soggy, and this attack is not gonna do too much. It's just gonna do 5 damage, and it's still lethal regardless. Bastion going on to the Tom Kench on that desperate block for this one. I think Soggy is just so comfortable. It's totally okay for Soggy to take this trade, as he has the Tiana to finish this game once and for all.
I think once you see this attack going through with your opponent having 14 mana, you can think, alright, so he either has Tiana or he has Brightsteel plus Relentless Pursuit. Those are the options, and to all of those, I am pretty much dead.
Yeah, so here you have the Tiana going for the rally, and I think Pynex, this is his window to go for the surrender button, or he's just gonna face his spade and go, facing an attack filled with fearsome units, and only blocker he has is Tom Kench, and it's not gonna be enough, as is the amount of damage is just too much for Pynex to handle.
Yes, definitely. You do have two blockers. Is there going to be a third one available, or does he have a way to prolong his suffering more? It seems like not. He is trying to draw a card, but that is not going to be enough. At least two attackers are going to be queued in, and that is going to be the end of this game.
Yeah, so this is gonna be Soggyslopster taking game number 1 against Pynex in the loser bracket finals. This attack itself is worth 30 damage, and there's no way that Pynex could block against this. It, Look, there's a 10-10 Tiana and there's an 8-2 Shen. There is no way that Soggy could deal with this, and Soggy is taking round number 1 in the loser bracket finals, and we're going on to round number 2. On the bright side, we don't exactly have a Fira Shen mirror, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, but we might see the Tamken. No, we're not going to see. Yeah, we're going to see probably a Tamken Churaka versus TFA Furious if that ever happens in the third game or in the second game, depending on what the players queue.
Yeah, and just a heads up, if Soggyslopster actually win this game against Pynex, that being said, Soggy will be moving on to the grand finals, and we will have a Soggyslopster versus Keystick rematch, and we might have to deal with an Aphelios mirror again.
From what I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they are both teammates.
I don't think so.
Let me quickly check. Let me quickly check.
So yes, guys, we're moving on to game number 2 with Pynex with Sora Kench sticking in with Soraka Kench, and Soggyslopster going in with Aphelios TF.
No,
This matchup, the Pynex could be able to sneak up a win, and hopefully, he could start taking early picks off with TK on Aphelios and TF, but it all really comes down to how Soggy is going to play around this. And he has that Lunari Dustbringer, he has that Aphelios, he is ready to go for a turn 3 Aphelios for Soggy.
Yeah, looks like a nice hand to have, especially with Aphelios, and at this point you just want the other pieces of the Holy Trinity. You want Twisted Fate, and even more important, I think Veiled Temple. I think Veiled Temple is the star of this deck, arguably the star of this deck, because you can push so much damage, get your units out of so many threats, it's just so good. And on top of that, you get mana back.
Yeah, I mean, you get buff, you get mana, you get everything, that is the power of the Veiled Temple. If you have 2 on board, that is gonna be so much value for the Targon player. And look at Soggy, he has Aphelios, he has TF, and I think Pynex is gonna have a very bad time to deal with this matchup.
I'm thinking that in the near future we might see a similar nerf to Veiled Temple that we have seen to the Demacian landmark, because having the opportunity to also get HP, not only attack, is very huge.
Yeah, I personally feel like the Veiled Temple is gonna be nerfed, but I think the dev might be a little bit concerned, and hopefully the nerf would come together with the Shurima patch as well. So hopefully the Veiled Temple has to be in check, or else it's gonna be rolling over the opponent again and again and again.
We need to wait though, because maybe some cards from the Shurima expansion are going to naturally deal with the Veiled Temple, for example, or maybe Veiled Temple has been designed in order to keep in check some of the cards that are going to come from Shurima.
Yeah, those are also options as well, but it's interesting enough that Pynex actually still doesn't have a play on turn 3, and Soggy actually has a very good Crescendro, and picking himself up the Boxtopus as well. So this is a very clean 5 attack coming in from Pynex. Pynex answering this with his own Boxtopus, but I think he has the ways to protect the Aphelios with Astral Protection as well. So Pynex is not exactly taking the lead as of right now, and Soggy is just having such a commanding lead against Pynex.
Probably the main question for both Soggyslopster and Pynex here is, does he have a hush? Or do I have a hush? If Pynex has a hush, the efforts of protecting these affiliates have been in vain. Your opponent has 7 mana, so that makes it more likely that your opponent has an answer to this. If there is a hush, there is a hush.
Yep, so Soggy actually spent his whole turn on this extra protection trying to protect this Aphelios. So does Pynex have that hush to deal with this Aphelios? And it seems like unfortunately Pynex doesn't have the answer, but I believe a TK is gonna come down. And exactly as we said, the TK is coming down, and he is starting to try to gain control over the Aphelios, but still no Star Spring in sight. Pynex might be in a little bit of danger.
Is TK really that threatening to begin with? Because you can just drag it and then just push a lot of damage. Put your opponent on 8. They might need to use their healing on face instead of using it on their units, and they don't even have the landmark. So I think pushing damage here is not that bad of an idea, especially because now, let's mention, you have Bastion in hand.
Yeah, so at this point, I think it's looking really more and more bad for Pynex move. Like as turn goes by, as Pynex still doesn't have any ways that he could get a Star Spring, or the only way that Pynex probably would be able to win here is to sneak out a Star Spring and then try to cheese his way in to get that win, to steal that win. But I don't think it's gonna be possible at this point with whatever that is with the bot state that Soggy has right now.
Let's not just doom this game just yet, because Tahm Kench can provide some insane comeback assists.
Yeah, I think right now he has a good opening to eat the Aphelios, which Soggy actually has his second copy of Aphelios, so that's not too much of a problem. But at least Pynex is keeping the Aphelios in check, and if he could ever go for an extra protection over here the next turn, he could even try to eat the second Aphelios or the Twist of Fate following up. And if the TK is not kept in check, I think the TK could just start ruining the tempo of Soggy.
Yeah, so it's going to come down basically, guys, to is this TK going to be able to clear the board effectively enough, or is this TF Affiliates deck going to be able to go wide enough in order to challenge the Nexus and demand answers? If you can challenge your opponent and present a lot of damage to their Nexus, they are going to be put in very awkward situations, and they might want to take very weird lines. Healing in this deck is not for Nexus, it's usually for units.
Yep, and here we see a Soraka combining with TK going in for the attack, healing the TK back up to 6. As all Soggy needs to do is just continue to pressure with his units, and Pynex without a Star Spring, it's still really difficult for him to deal with it.
You can safely block this Soraka just because your opponent didn't show any sign of Star Spring, because they need to invest double Spell Cascade if they want to kill these Aphelios, and that is going to tap them out by a lot of mana. Still gives you opportunities to answer your opponents. And with the addition of Veiled Temple, I think this hand should be complete.
Yeah, so Soggy is able to roll probably after this attack. He's just gonna play the Veiled Temple into the Chrysandrum. I think yeah, Soggy is comfortable to close off the game with Pynex with just at 8 health and without Star Spring as well. So it's gonna be really difficult for Pynex to overturn this game. This attack is probably not gonna hurt Soggy at all, and not forgetting he has a Star Spring as well if he ever is in danger. So this is probably good enough for Soggy, and just taking this damage and just move forward. I think Soggy could just overturn the game just like that.
He can even wait at this point and just play Lunari Darksbringer instead of committing anything, because he has a wider board. He's going to be able to put some damage past the lines of Pynex that he's currently representing, because there are only 2 champions. There are going to be 4 units if he decides to go for the Lunari Darksbringer, and then it's going to be easier for him to protect some of the units. He can alternatively go for the Chrysandrum just because he still keeps the 4 mana available for the Bastion in case there is a Tahm Kench. trying to eat one of your units, probably Aphelios.
Yeah, the Aphelios has so much value to be eaten. And yeah, I mean, he has at this point he has no way to actually deal with the Temkench yet. So protecting the Aphelios might be the best way. But as of right now, the Temp, like he's just probably gonna good to go with the pass, and just continue his damage, smoking in as much damage as possible. And the Mind Melt is not gonna probably not gonna see play in this matchup. And Soggy is just so comfortable right now.
We might be able to see the mind meld being played for the final kill because it is going to bring a lot of damage that your opponent cannot effectively sustain. They are going to be on the ropes by then. They are on 8 HP for quite a few turns right now, so it's going to be even harder for them to defend. And I want to come back to the last turn where we have seen a pass from Pynex with a lot of mana, and that might mean he doesn't have ways to protect Tom Kench. Tom Kench with a hash, or at least eat with a hash backup probably.
Yeah, so I think the ball is right back on Pynex's court right now, and the only way that he could, the best way that he could go is trying to go for the acquired taste onto one of the boxtoppers, so that he wouldn't be able to get a good challenge on the Temkench. And a Bastion, as expected, is coming in, and I think the Twisted Fate here might Twisted Fate on Zap. He's considering Twisted Fate on Zap. I think Twisted Fate might be the better option here.
Twisted Fate might bring you slightly more value because it also draws you a card that is not a spell, or it draws you more expensive cards that you might use to finish the game. Maybe another star shaping if this first one is not going to be able to award you with a big elusive that can finish the game.
Yeah, so I think Twisted Fate blue card, and then he still could go for a the Calibrum if he ever chooses to, or when Pynex even play a unit down over here. So this is definitely not gonna go. Does Pynex actually has a way to pop this spell shield? The only way that he has is a Hush, and I don't think a Hush is great to be used in this position just like that.
Well, it is an option. Well, there is a hash, so that Tom Kench can try and eat.
Yep, so here you have Temkench actually successfully taking the boxtoppers, but that being said, this Temkench is in range of a gold card or even a kill from their boxtoppers as well. And a Zap Sprayfin over here could even trigger, and he got himself a Pure Cascade, so it's not gonna make too much of a difference. But I think Pynex might have a form of healing for the Temkench to allow it to survive, or even heal either the Soraka or Temkench for survival. So I think over here, Soggy might not be able to claim lethal based off this turn. Not just yet, at least.
Yeah, it's probably not just yet, but he's taking slow steps towards that. His opponent has been on 8, as we mentioned, for some turns now. Now he needs to block. He can only block 2 units. Probably you block an Aphelios and a 2-1. You still take 4. You are being reduced to 4 HP, and unless you are going to be able to heal your Nexus, which means you are not going to be able to progress to your Star Spring level up, you are going to lose.
Yeah, so it really comes down, and how would does Pynex actually have a way to save this Soraka, which he did with an Astral Protection, and this is still the Soraka is still not level up yet. And Soggy is still. I think it's just a matter of time. Actually, Soggy actually closed this game, right? Pynex is just way behind, just 3 cards on his hand. With the TK as well, probably the TK has no way of healing or surviving, and I think that is probably it. And Soggy has this game in his bag, based on the current bot status.
Technically, TK is not really out of options just yet because there is a Soraka that can heal him back. There is a Soraka that might try to level up and fully heal him back. But at 2 HP, you don't try. Oh, the Star Spring from the top of the deck came just too late for the game.
Yeah, so the Soraka over here healing both units back to full health. No, the tab catch is still not back to full health, so that being the Soraka is just so behind in terms of healing, and the Star Spring is not gonna do too much. Soggy is just gonna hold on, wait a little, and he's able to close off the game. Just like that.
Yes, like you can just play for fun at this point if you're Soggyslopster, because your opponent needs to make the move, needs to call the ropes, otherwise they're just going to die to your next attack. You can even just pass back. If they eat one of your units, you can develop your Twisted Fate and then pick the game up from there.
Yeah, and then the Quiet Taste going into the Aphelios. I mean, it's not gonna do too big of a difference. Just allowing him to take this Aphelios, leveling up the TK. And I think like right here, it's just a TF or even a red card could just push him down to 1 or anything, right? At this point, Pynex, if he doesn't have any heal for his Nexus, he's in so much of a trouble.
Oh no. So much lag. I guess Tomkins doesn't want to eat fast anymore. His belly might be full. He wants to take it slow.
So I pick a card from Soggy, trying to find more options. I think the Mind Melt is at 7 right now, which is still good enough. Irregardless, he has the creature, he has the unit advantage. He has a elusive unit as well. A blue card over here could draw him into more options. Like all Soggy have right now is nothing but options. And at this point, Soggy just have to find what is the best way he needs to take out this win.
I think he just attacks. That's the best way. You can play for the mind meld just to make sure your attack is going to connect, I think. So no matter what you are doing, one unit will at least connect and will at least deal the little damage.
Yeah, so right here I think it's gonna be probably it's gonna be over for Pynex, right? Passing the turn back, Star Spring is just only at 8. It's not enough to deal with this, and we are still dealing with the lag ourselves as well. Oh no. No. The game died, guys. Hold on, give me a moment.
The game actually died.
Yeah, the game actually died.
No, it didn't die. It's back. Roll it back. Abort mission.
No. And yes, we got it back.
What is happening?
Not like that, Soggy. Not like that. Okay, I have the press play.
In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
no, guys.
We're trying to resurrect the stream, so guys in chat, give us your power.
This is CPR. This is CPR. And the stream is back, people, and and it's lagging again. Okay, so
Soggyslopster.
okay, so I think right now, and Moonlight Affliction could just close off the game, right? He could go for like Harsh into Moonlight Affliction. Soggy has a very, very clear win.
He doesn't even need to go for the Harsh. He can go Dusk Petal into Moonlight Affliction. Close the game.
Yeah. So Soggy, what are you waiting for? Attack!
He was waiting for us to go back and watch it. That's why he slow played.
Wait. That answers everything. It's going for the Aphelios?
Why are we playing that, sir? I think we want to win the game. Don't you? Oh, he likes to BM. I get it.
So he's going for the Aphelios, going in for a Gravitum?
I think you go for Gravitum, so...
Or Overwhelm, right? Like that is probably the...
No, I think it's Gravitum, so use...
Guys, he's gonna win with style. He's gonna win with Mind Melt, people. High Gun, not gonna do too much. Moonlight Affliction, he's going for the Moonlight Affliction, not the Mind Melt. So he's going in for this attack.
What was the reason for not playing that the first time?
So here we have it, Soggy going in for the full swing, Pynex giving in a Shen emote, And Soggy is taking in the win and is moving to the grand finals.